President Trump today driving further into an ugly controversy of his own making, taking heat after questioning whether President Obama called the families of fallen troops. Now Trump invoking a chief of staff, General John Kelly, who served both administrations and whose son was killed in Afghanistan, invoking him for politics.
I think I've called every family of somebody that's died, and it's the hardest call to make, and I said it very loud and clear yesterday. The hardest thing for me to do is do that. Now, as far as other representatives, I don't know. I mean, you could ask General Kelly, did he get a call from Obama? You could ask other people. I don't know what Obama's policy was.
Kelly did attend a White House breakfast with the Obamas for Gold Star families, but the broader point isn't comparing presidential responses here, but that Trump took the focus off these fallen soldiers to stoke a false comparison with another politician. All of this against the backdrop of John McCain's powerful address last night.
To fear the war we have organized and led the three-quarters of a century, to abandon the ideals we have advanced around the globe, to refuse the obligations of international leadership and our duty to remain the last best hope of Earth, for the sake of some half-baked, spurious nationalism cooked up by people who would rather find scapegoats than solve problems.
He didn't mention Trump, but the president must have recognized himself for selling spurious nationalism. And then McCain said Trump's ideology belongs in history's garbage can.
Is as unpatriotic as an attachment to any other tired dogma of the past that Americans consigned to the ash heap of history.
That is a reference to Ronald Reagan predicting the fall of the Soviet Union.
What I'm describing now is a plan and a hope for the long term. The march of freedom and democracy, which will leave Marxism, Leninism on the ash heap of history.
Then McCain said, America's great because of its ideals, not ethnicity.
We live in a land made of ideals, not blood and soil.
That is a reference to the Nazi chant that the white nationalists were using in Charlottesville. A powerful call for patriotism, and with me now to discuss is Allison Jaslow, an Iraq Army vet who's Executive Director for Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, and Professor Leo Wright-Rigueur of the Harvard Kennedy School. Allison, quite a contrast. Your thoughts?
You know, I think the reality is that most Americans can't even relate to the sacrifice that families of the fallen have not only made. And instead of actually acknowledging and recognizing troops who we recently lost in a surprise in Africa, we went too quickly to politics. And I think that that's just honestly a shame.
Leah, you look at this, it was an address from John McCain last night at a time that we all know is difficult for him and his family as he battles for his life. And it was really rooted in history and an alternative vision of America.
Absolutely. So I got to ask you, Ari, you know, where's the lie? I think this is what was so powerful about this speech last night, which is that it called out all the things that the nation has been kind of wrestling over, been fighting over, that have been in the headlines, that the president has equivocated over, and then, right, said that this is not the kind of patriotism that I want to be associated with. It belongs in the, you know, the ash bin of history. I think, too, though it's really powerful in this moment, too, is that it put accountability back on Donald Trump. And so one of the things that we saw over and over again is that Trump is very willing to use patriotism as a kind of political football. It's something to be wielded, it's something to use as a line of attack or a tool of attack. And here comes John McCain, who has been under attack from Donald Trump, saying, no, that's not the brand of patriotism that I want to buy or what America should represent at this moment in time.
Yeah, and we're seeing a special disgust, I think, displayed, Allison, by other people who've dealt with one of the most torturous parts of being a leader in government, looking at the families of the people who make the ultimate sacrifice. This was Attorney General Holder, who, of course, oversees law enforcement and agents who also lose their lives. And he tweeted very unusual language from him. I know him a little bit. He said, "Stop the damn lying. You're the president. I went to Dover Air Force Base with 44, Barack. I saw him comfort the families of both the fallen military and the DEA.
You know, I think she hit the nail on the head there with the fact that veterans, folks like myself who've been to Iraq twice, and especially families of the fallen, our Gold Star families among us, should not be used as political shields. And it's happening all too often these days. And what we really need to do is slow ourselves down and really think about the sacrifice. You know, look at the images there on your screen, Ari. We need to spend more time focusing on that. And the supports that presidents give our families of our fallen, you know, it comes in all different types. And what we really need to do is support organizations like the Tragedy Assistance Partnership for Families, excuse me, TAPS, and make sure that those organizations, non-political organizations, take the politics out of this, get the support, and the families get the support that they need.
Allison Jaslow, thank you for your service. Thank you for talking to us. Professor Leah Wright-Rigueur.